Wait, what? The C6 might be getting a supercharger? About a year ago, I decided to install a performance cam in the C6, and at the same time, I put together a series of videos on how to rationally select a cam that's appropriate for your Corvette, and more importantly, how you use it. That last sentence is key because cam selection basically comes down to how much time you'll be spending at low RPMs, mid RPMs, and upper RPMs, and if you missed that video, there's a link to it right up here. So after thinking about my situation for just a little bit, it was really clear that I use the C6 on the street 99% of the time, which means I'll be at the low and middle RPMs 99% of the time. That having been said, just about every time I drive the C6, I tend to hammer it at least once all the way up to 6,800 RPMs. But even so, that only equates to about 1% of the time. So with all of that in mind, I decided on this performance cam from Summit Racing. It gives up just a little bit of power down low in exchange for a fair bit of power up high, and at the same time, the mid-range torque stays about the same. I have done a few videos since I installed this cam, and since then, a lot of people have been asking, what stage is this cam? How is the drivability? How much horsepower have I picked up? And of course, would I recommend this cam? Let's tackle each one of these questions one by one, but first, there is one aspect of this cam that I must admit I didn't put any thought in whatsoever up front when selecting the cam, because in my mind, it's simply a byproduct of performance cams, and that aspect is the sound. Everyone that has gone for a ride in the C6 or has been around when I've started it has commented that it sounds fantastic. The feedback has been so overwhelming, I even made a YouTube short where I compare the cammed LS2's sound to that of my buddy's cammed LS7, and that video has been very well received as well. Here, take a look or take a listen. LS2 powered C6 cammed long tube headers. It doesn't sound much better than that.
You think? You sure about that?
Why do you want to pee in my cornflakes like that, Ben?
Sorry, man. You can't disrespect the LS7.
So exactly what stage is the Summit cam that I selected is probably the most common question I get asked, and the answer is, it depends on who you ask. If you look at Texas Speed's website, my camshaft falls pretty close to their Stage 2 LS2 cam. If you look at Cam Motion's website, my specs are really close to their Titan 4 LS1 cam, and if you look at Brian Tooley's website, it's very close to their Stage 3 LS2 cam. So in my humble opinion, the word stage is way too generic because it's not standardized in any way. So I tend to focus on the duration of the cam, the lobe separation angle, the overlap, and of course, the valve lift. The second most common question I get is, how is the drivability of the C6 with this cam installed? And that is a great question because if you get too greedy and go with too big of a cam, your new love of how your engine sounds will quickly fade away and be replaced by what a pain in the ass your C6 has become to drive in everyday situations. Now, after upgrading the camshaft in your C6, quite a bit of your Corvette's drivability is going to depend upon the skill level of your tuner, but even if you have the best LS tuner on the face of the planet, at some point a camshaft's specs are just simply too aggressive, and it's not realistic to think that drivability down in the lower RPM range is going to be anything but annoying when you're driving around town. So to answer the question, the camshaft that I bought is, in my opinion, about as aggressive as I'd want to go for a manual transmission C6 or C5 for that matter, if it's mainly going to be used on the street. Now, let's go for a spin. Here's a cold start, as you can see by the coolant temperature gauge. It is a little bit cold-blooded, so I have learned to give it about 30 seconds or so to warm up before taking off. As you can see, it does quite well in the lower RPM range as I slowly and courteously leave my neighborhood. As I cruise down the road at part throttle and at very light load, I've learned to keep it in a gear that allows me to be at about 1500 RPM or higher. This prevents that low RPM chop effect that we all love from being able to cause any sort of bucking. In this next clip, I intentionally have the engine at about 1200 RPMs at very light throttle, and you can clearly hear some light bucking. That bucking effect can completely be avoided by simply downshifting into the next lowest gear, or if I accelerate just a little bit by giving it a little bit more throttle, or if I happen to be going up even just a slight incline and have to push the throttle just a smidge more. So for a C6 with a manual transmission, or even a C5 for that matter, I would give this cam 2 thumbs up. Just pretend that there's 2 thumbs right there. If your C6 or C5 has an automatic transmission and you'd like to use this camshaft, I would suggest installing a torque converter with about a 3200 RPM stall speed, and that should make it very enjoyable for driving on the street. The third most common question I get is how much horsepower did the C6 gain from the new camshaft? And this is where things get a little bit nuanced because it depends on where in the horsepower curve you're talking about, and as many of you guys knew, you really do need to add a set of long tube headers with a serious performance cam so that the engine can exhale properly, allowing you to get the most out of your new cam. So here is a very generic graph of the horsepower curve of the stock LS2 in blue and the horsepower curve of the cam and headers in red. From idle to around 4000 RPMs, power is probably slightly negative, but as RPMs increase further, we start gaining horsepower around 4500 RPMs, and that trend continues all of the way up to my self-imposed red line of 6800 RPMs. To get an idea of specifically how much horsepower has been added, let's take a look at the top speed in the quarter mile before the cam and headers versus after the cam and headers. Since I do have this data from testing that I did at my local drag strip, I can plug the information into racing calculators that do a really good job of estimating horsepower, much like a dyno would, and really that's just by seeing how long it takes to accelerate a known mass. So right before the cam and headers were installed, but with the fast LSXR 102 intake manifold, the top speed at the end of the quarter mile was 115.6 miles per hour. Using the TCI Automotive Racing Calculator, the C6 with me in it weighs about 3,450 pounds, and that gives us about 416 horsepower. After installing the cam and headers, the C6 now has a top speed at the end of the quarter of 120.8 miles per hour. And if we do a little math, that equates to 474 horsepower for a gain of 58 horsepower. Now that doesn't sound earth-shattering, but if we look at that Texas speed cam that we talked about just a little bit ago, they say it should produce a gain of about 55 horsepower, which tells me that we're right in the ballpark. Now the grand total of the amount of horsepower that we've gained over a bone stock LS2 is a little bit more impressive. If you remember from previous videos, stock LS2 C6s typically are known to trap about 112 miles per hour in the quarter. So the grand total of the amount of horsepower that we've gained with the addition of the LS7 air filter assembly, the fast LSXR 102 intake manifold, the Summit Racing camshaft, and the Speed Engineering headers is just a tiny bit shy of 100 horsepower, and that has a much better ring to it. One other thing that several people have asked is how has the C6's fuel economy changed since the addition of the Summit cam, and I've seen this exact question asked through the years on various forums, and what typically happens is one of the louder voices chimes in and says, if you're worried about fuel economy, buy a Prius. Now that's not particularly helpful, so here's what I would say. I haven't noticed a major change in miles per gallon, but it's not something I've been monitoring either. My guess is if you're driving down the freeway in the C6 doing 70 miles per hour, the cam might cost you 2, maybe 3 miles per gallon, but that's just a guess. A few decades ago when carburetors were still dominant, a performance cam could absolutely destroy your fuel economy because it was much more challenging to get the appropriate air-fuel ratio with a carburetor after installing a performance cam. With the C6's modern fuel injection, as long as it's got a decent tune applied to it, it's a lot easier for the engine's management system and the oxygen sensors to keep the air-fuel ratios where they should be, and that helps a lot with efficiency. The last question is, if I could somehow magically pull out the cam that I had just put in and put in a different one with slightly different specs, would I? Probably not, unless the next modification I were to make to the LS2 was to supercharge it. In that case, I probably would have backed off on the duration of the cam by just a little bit. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and leave a comment below if you'd like to see the LS2 receive a set of ported heads, or perhaps supercharged, or something else. Leave it in the comments below, and thanks for watching.